In every MMO, or massively multiplayer online game, in-game currencies exist and they are used to spend on items such as armor, weapons, food, supplies, or even property. In EVE Online, the primary currency is Interstellar Credits, or ISK. In Final Fantasy, the primary currency is Gil. And in old school Runescape, the primary currency is gold pieces, aka GP. Using in-game currency in any MMO is taken for granted, and is pretty much essential for playing the MMO. Or is it? Meet the first feature of Most Unique Accounts, episode number 23, NoCurrencies. NoCurrencies is an account that is not allowed to use any currencies within old school RuneScape. Although GP is the most impactful of old school RuneScape currencies, in total 39 currencies actually exist, and some other currencies to consider include Slayer points, Marks of Grace, and Pest Control points. NoCurrencies originally intended to play as a no-shop Iron Man, inspired by the discovery back in 2018 that the Pestle and Mortar at the time could only be obtained outside of a shop by killing level 80 to 100 zombies in Tarn's lair. Upon theory crafting further, however, he realized that the distinction between what was versus what wasn't a shop was quite ambiguous, since shops take so many shapes and forms within the game. After reflecting on the fact that his goal was total self-sufficiency without buying anything, he realized currencies were the perfect lens for the restriction. Of course, not spending any currencies goes far beyond the scope of simply not using shops. For one thing, NoCurrencies doesn't own a player-owned house, since it can't be obtained without spending GP somehow. Either 1000 GP to buy one directly, or 3150 GP to buy bolts of cloth for the Daddy's Home subquest. Despite this, NoCurrencies has managed to achieve level 33 construction, the highest level of any player without the use of a player-owned house. Many interesting tactics have been employed just to get to 33, including building half of the furniture for Daddy's Home mini-quest, building stash units for clues, building the Falso Island Museum Camp, and repairing totems and masks during Temperos. After the construction Temperos patch, NoCurrencies was once again stuck with no repeatable means to train the construction skill. Stash units cannot be destroyed and rebuilt, experience lamps, the Tears of Guthix minigame, and the Chambers of Xeric storage units all require player-owned houses to get construction experience. The impacts of not being able to spend currencies are incredibly varied and sometimes totally unexpected. NoCurrencies accidentally locked himself out of farming guild contracts for over a year after he received an easy Willow Tree contract on his second contract ever, because, being new to the content, he didn't realize easy contracts are unskippable. Without any way to get the gardening trowel, he wasn't able to create tree saplings, which severely handicapped his farming experience potential and makes farming contracts brickable. It wasn't until a yellow dye spawn was added into the game with the Getting Ahead quest in November of 2020 that he realized he could now finish Enlightened Journey and receive a willow sapling from August to finally complete his contract. He now avoids all easy contracts by reducing his farming level below 65. He does this using the Mauritania leeches, which have a chance to reduce any of your stats whenever they deal damage. To date, NoCurrencies has over 1900 total level, with over 100 million total experience. He has achieved 399 so far, strength, hit points, and woodcutting. Unfortunately for him, skill capes cost 99 KGP each, so he can't take advantage of any of the skill cape perks for his current 99s, nor future ones. Some of these perks are quite powerful, such as those of the crafting, farming, and slayer capes, and of course, the max cape most of all. NoCurrencies' biggest unlocks to date include his Berserker necklace, which was achieved by stealing an onyx at the gem stall, a 1 in 50k drop rate, the dragon scimitar from Scorpia, the cudgel from Sarachnis, and the dragon pickaxe from Vedion. Currently, he is working on obtaining both wilderness wards as well as full dragon high, which would be his best in slot mage gear before ancestral. Abrams isn't really an option, as all Barrow's gear in general is single use because he can't repair it. He hopes to reach Zalra this year and then turn to other grinds such as the Dragon Warhammer and Higher Slayer, up to the point where he can take on Hydra. Considering endgame content, with his restrictions, God War's dungeon is unavailable, but NoCurrencies can look forward to challenges such as the Chambers of Xeric and the Inferno. The ultimate endgame content, however, would be the Theater of Blood. The Theater of Blood is the most dangerous place in the entire game for NoCurrencies. A death at the Theater of Blood would result in the loss of all items, given the 100,000 GP reclaim fee. How about that for some endgame content? Boss pets have been one of the most sought out accolades in old school RuneScape since the first boss pet was released in April 2014, the Chaos Elemental pet. At the time, a player by the name of Garp, also known as Dustlet, lived in Edgeville and was a player killing machine on his pure account. Pure accounts in RuneScape are like the equivalent of steroids in bodybuilding. They are conditioned in a way to make them as strong as possible. And Garp's account was conditioned so well, boasting of 99 strength just 14 months into the release of the game, making him nearly unstoppable. For the next year, Garp would be a reckoning force in the wilderness, making millions of GP and having a ton of fun in the process. In July of 2014, Boss Pets got another update, adding another 12 pets into the game. Those would include the 4 God Wars dungeon pets, 3 Dagannoth King pets, among others. This release proved to be an instant hit, and players raced to be among the first to get their hands on them for fame and notoriety. By March of 2015, an additional 4 boss pets were released: Wilderness Pets Scorpia, Vedion, Venenatus, and the Callisto Cub. And an encounter soon after between Garp and a peer around his combat level, flexing his Callisto Cub pet, would change how Garp would play old school RuneScape for the next half decade to come. Garp was in awe of the peer's Callisto Cub pet, and he set his sights on getting one of his own. After 2 months, Garp was successful, achieving the Callisto Cub at 1,457 kill count. Towards the end of 2015, after growing tired of PKing, Garp decided to take on bossing on his peer head first. At 74 combat, which included 50 attack, 99 strength, 1 defense, 99 hit points, 99 ranged and magic, and just 13 prayer, Garp was ready to give his best shot at getting as many pets as possible. His biggest obstacle was definitely his 13 prayer, which prevented him from using overhead prayers, making his bossing experience much more difficult. Among his early pets included the Caliphite Princess, achieved at over 10,000 kill count, the Prince Black Dragon, achieved at nearly 7,000 kill count, and the Hell Puppy, achieved at 2,700 kill count. Some other insane kill counts, despite not having overhead prayers, include 9,800 Zulrah, 10,000 Corporal Beast, 7,500 combined Dagannoth Kings, 2,700 Hydra, 1,000 Challenge Mode Raids, and over 500 Theater of Blood kill count. Today, Garp has 34 pets in total. The boss pets that Garp is still missing are Kriara, Grardor, Lil Zik, Bloodhound, Younglef, Little Nightmare, and Jad. He's also still missing 4 scaling pets, including the Golem, Baby Chinchampa, Rift Guardian, and Temperas. And finally, due to Garp's account limitations, he can't get Vorki, the Chompy Chick, and Pet Zuck. From the start of Garp's pet hunting journey until now, the only real difference was his prayer level. Garp was 13 prayer when he first started, and today he is 28 prayer. One night Garp's friend Riley asked to see what his collection log looked like, so he went over to the information clerk in Varrock Museum to take a peek. Not realizing it, Garp was given the prayer experience from having 150 kudos, which accidentally took him from 13 to 22 prayer. Yeah, nice going, Riley. After getting 22 prayer, Garp decided on completing Restless Ghost, Ghost Ahoy, and the Wilderness Elite Diary, taking him to 28 prayer, where he stands today. Herblore, the skill that half of the player base also participates in real life, is arguably one of the easiest 99s if you have the GP to buy all the herbs and secondaries. But if you play on an Ultimate Iron Man account, the skill goes from among the easiest to 99 to the hardest. The complexity of getting 99 Herblore stems from the insane amount of herbs and secondaries needed to collect from scratch, limited inventory space available, and of course, not having the ability to bank. The next player on most unique accounts is UIM Herblore. UIM Herblore was the second Ultimate Iron Man to get an untrimmed 99 Herblore cape. His goal was rather complex and included a few obscure restrictions. One such restriction was to stay level 80 or under in all other stats. The 80 skill ceiling was given because he wanted to achieve a fairy ring in his player-owned house, and that's the lowest level you can boost from. Another interesting restriction UIM Herblore gave himself during the Herblore grind was staying at level 1 runecrafting. Although it seems like a weird handicap and one that shouldn't have any impact in the Herblore skill, it was actually the opposite. Having 1 runecrafting didn't allow UIM Herblore to finish Lunar Diplomacy quest to unlock the Lunar Spellbook, which is needed for the Desert Hard Diary. And the Desert Hard Diary unlocks the ability to use the Herblorist and Narda to make unfinished potions from herb stacks. So what that means is UIM Herblore had to manually make all of its unfinished potions for the entire duration of the account up until 99 Herblore. Around half of UIM Herblore's experience came from minigames, including Sorcerer's Garden, Temple Trekking, Pest Control for herb packs, Barbarian Assault, and Brimhaven Agility for herbs from the tickets. The other half of the Herblore experience came from 250,000 outlaw kills. Outlaws are the NPCs from the What Lies Below quest, which are between Edgeville and the Grand Exchange. Outlaws were a very nice option for UIM Herblore because they give significantly reduced combat experience for killing them, only 2.7 total experience per kill, while also giving a 25% chance to drop a herb from the standard herb drop table. A very small percentage of his Herblore experience did come from nature implings for herbs, magpie implings for sinister keys, Sailor and the Twisted, and other assorted monster drops. Other notable achievements include 1,250 Chambers of Xeric kill count, 1,000 high gambles at Barbarian Assault, and a fire cape using poison tagging, which took over 11 hours for a successful attempt. His main goal from doing the Chambers of Xeric was the Din's Bulwark, which was achieved at 1,147 kill count, where he got the Penance Queen at 988 high gambles. Future goals for UIM Herblore include finishing the Ancestral set, which he currently has 2 pieces already, getting Justiciar and a Scythe from the Theater of Blood, completing Song of the Elves quest, and eventually going for the front page in Herblore for UIMs. UIM Herblore does plan on keeping his untrimmed Herblore cape for good, and has set a skill ceiling for other stats at 96. In old school Runescape, playing on alternate accounts is becoming more and more normal. In a sample size of over 3,400 players, 47% of them said that they played on multiple accounts at once. Among that 47% is a player by the name of Skilless Lee. Skilless Lee was nothing more than a side project or alternate account that Lee would play on while still playing on his main Iron Man account, ironically. But after finishing his PVM goals of achieving the Zuck Pet and Full Dragon Armor, ironically wasn't having fun anymore and decided he would focus on his alternate account, Skilless Lee, while AFK skilling his other Iron Man on the side. Skilless Lee was exactly what his name implied. The account was built for the sole purpose of doing absolutely no skilling. It would be a 100% combat only account. Little did Skilless Lee know at the time, the gameplay would be very challenging and also anxiety filled at times. Skilless Lee quickly learned that his account was like Chumpy Chimp, aka the Mayor of Edgeville, featured in Season 1. He was always living on the edge. One brain lapse cutting a tree, thieving a man, or doing a skilling room in the Chambers of Xeric, and the account was ruined. Today, Skilless Lee has all 99 melees, 99 hit points, 99 ranged and magic, and 95 prayer. His biggest achievement to date is definitely his Infernal Cape. The Infernal Cape was achieved without Ancient Magics, since he obviously couldn't do Desert Treasure given the skilling requirements. The cape was done using Rune Throne Axes and no Enchanted Bolts, as Emerald Bolts require fletching to create, which would of course mess up his account build. After 2 months of non-stop Inferno and countless attempts, Skilless Lee would become the first player to get the Infernal Cape without using Ancient Magics. Other achievements Skilless Lee has also accomplished include doing the 6 Jad challenge with the Carol's Crossbow, having 5 Chambers of Xeric drops including the Pet Omelet, and also 5 Theater of Blood drops and the Pet Lil Zik. Future goals for Skilless Lee include getting the max total for his build, which is 807, getting the Amulet of Avarice from Revenants, a Twisted Bow from the Chambers of Xeric, all Theater of Blood weapons, and 1 Nightmare unique. The fun part about old school RuneScape is the vast amount of different paths you can take and the different ways you can play the game. We've gone from a combat only account in the last feature to exactly the opposite, a level 3 Iron Man skiller by the name of ByTrible. ByTrible is a nearly maxed level 3 skiller with 1556 total level and 14 of 15 non-combat stats to 99, the outlier being 93 smithing. To date, ByTrible has nearly 700 million total experience, including 200 million thieving experience, 116 million firemaking experience, and 106 million hunter experience. Just like our earlier feature, UIM Herblore, ByTrible's hardest 99 was definitely his 99 Herblore as well. ByTrible decided to do most of his Herblore experience by first training Hunter through Herbivore to stack up the herbs required. From 40 million to 106 million hunter experience, ByTrible got around 80,000 herbs in the process, which was enough for 99. Another very unique accomplishment for ByTrible was becoming perhaps the first skiller to all 10 skilling pets. Although plenty of RNG was involved, it still took ByTrible nearly 3 years to accomplish this. In a quick edit, while this video was in the works, the Temperos came out, making there a total of 11 skilling pets now available for level 3 skillers. Of course, ByTrible is in the process of going for the Temperos as well. Future goals for ByTrible include finishing off 99 smithing and then going for 1 billion total experience. That's it, episode 3 complete. Thanks for subscribing. Be sure to watch the video on the screen now. I think you'll enjoy it.